Hello people, welcome back to my channel and happy new year to all of you. So in today's video, we'll be doing a special activity in Python. That is, we'll be creating a chatbot basically, but don't have that much big expectation like we'll be building some Siri or Cortana or something like that. But this is a simple example in Python that we'll be doing. So basically, some of the things which we already discussed from so far about the previous knowledge of Python, basic indexing and operating with different data structures, then by using different methods. And when you build a chatbot or whenever you want to deal with some documents or whenever there is a input output with respect to words, sentences, stuffs like that. So this essentially is a wider branch of machine learning which is called as the NLP, which stands for natural language processing. So in order to build some applications based upon NLP, you will have to use a toolkit which is called as the NLTK, that is Natural Language Toolkit. And there will be three terms which is most important or which forms the fundamentals of natural language processing. That is, you have the TF, which stands for term frequency, DF, which stands for the document frequency, and IDF, that is the inverse document frequency. So these three things will cover in some separate videos later about the conceptual things. So it's better to understand how it is actually implemented. Okay, so how these things interplay or comes into action for building a actual chatbot. Okay, so we will have we don't have a UI or thing like that, but just common questions you ask to a chatbot and it will give you some answer. Okay, so for that purpose I'll be basically uh, running all of these things on a, special editor, that is the code editor. So this is a new code editor that I'm introducing. Before this we have did the code editing in Google Colab, Jupyter Notebook, also by using the IDLE and PyCharm. Okay, so this is nothing but Spider, that is the scientific Python development environment. So this comes bundled with the Anaconda package. So whenever you install Anaconda to your system, all these things comes inbuilt. Okay, so you need not do special separate installation explicitly for this kind of uh, shells or code interactors or code editors. Okay, so let's begin. So for this we'll need some input. So the input will be in the form of a text file. So the text file which I have is, which looks something like this. So the name of this text file is act1 scene1. Just ignore the name of that. So this text file is all about active learning. You know about what is active learning. I have discussed in my videos. So the purpose of active learning and why it is basically used for case-based reasoning CBR systems. Okay, so it is all about that. Just few lines which I have typed. Okay, so we'll pass this as an input to our chatbot and we'll query for certain answers. So it will be like I want certain answers from this. Okay, so assume like I am solving my assignment. So I have certain questions and I'm asking my chatbot for that particular answer. Okay, so let's see whether we can do that thing in Python by using a chatbot. Okay, so for this purpose we'll use special libraries. So one such library is called as the NLTK. As you can see here, I'll just zoom this. That is Natural Language Toolkit. Then we have import random. So that is a random variable generator will be requiring further down the line. Then we have strings. So that is inbuilt package for string manipulation. Like say you have some words. Okay, so then you have to convert it to lowercase, uppercase, things like that. So for that, common operations will be requiring strings. Then we have some warnings, that is just to ignore if in case if something happens, because since this is a new code editor, it can happen like some warnings can pop up. So we don't want all of these things to pop up on our screen. So that's why we are making use of warnings dot filter warnings ignore. Okay. So these things are common, and if you see what is this thing here, so it's like random uh, is imported, but it has been never used anywhere, but we'll use it. Just these are the small walkthrough of what this thing actually is. What are the basic operations that you should keep in mind when you do some NLP projects or things like that. Okay. So first of all, that particular file which I showed you, that is on my local system. So in my local system, it is located in this particular location. So I basically want to open that particular file. Okay. And I want to read it. Okay, so I'm not doing any other modifications. I'm not writing or appending anything onto that. Okay, I just want to read it. So that is why you have this R, that is open this particular file. So uh, that is this one. In open method, you pass the uh, path of where that particular file resides and in which mode you want to open that, that is specified by this R, that is read mode. And then you want to ignore the errors. Okay, usually some things can go wrong, so just for that you have this variable errors, so that is an optional variable, you can skip that. Okay, and I'm just storing all of those things into an object F, and then I'm reading that object by using f.read. Okay, so these are basic file operations, and then I'm storing it into raw, so that will be my raw data, just without any pre-processing as in. Okay, so it can be a corpus. So here you basically use a word corpus, so everything will be considered like it will be a junk basically, double quotes, single quotes, punctuation marks, etc. Okay, so that thing you are storing it in another variable, that is raw. And what you want to do is you want to convert all the uh, text fields into lowercase. Okay, so make sure you don't put any special characters. If you have any special characters, then there are other techniques for doing or for treating those things. So once I read everything, I'll convert everything which is there in capitals. If it's in lowercase, that's not a problem, but if it's in uppercase, some letters are. So usually when you write something, it's like nouns should start with capital letters. Okay, name of a place, name of a person, name of some country, something like that. It should always start with capital letters and then followed by small letters. So will not consider that hassle. So instead of that, we'll convert everything to lowercase. Okay. Then what we have is something called as NLTK send tokenize. So what actually this method does is it will convert all the sentences which are there in your text file to list. So it is as simple as that. So now raw contains everything. I mean the finalized one, which is in lowercase. So I'll now tokenize it. That is sentence tokenization. Okay, and I'll put it into sent tokens. Then after sentence comes words. So it's like when you start learning a particular language, whether it's any native language or foreign language, it basically starts with alphabets. So A, B, C, like that. Then from alphabets you create the words. Okay, you learn the words bit by bit, and then with the help of grammars you try to make sentences, meaningful sentences, so that it makes some sense to the user. Okay, so first we are gathering all the sentences from that particular text document, and then we are extracting words out of that. Okay, so that is nothing but this. So these things are very simple. So this is the basic routine that we do in NLP. Okay, and then what I do is I'll just print only 4 sentences and 4 words. So it is for that. So I'll just go ahead and just uncomment this, and if I just run this, you can see that is on this particular console, it displays whatever you can see the run file, which file it has is running, that is cbot, that is this file, and the working directory is this one, and this is how my file is there. So it looks like, so if there is a new line which is there in my file, so that will be identified by this slash n. So originally in my file I didn't had any slash n. So if you basically use this notepad plus plus, this kind of code editors, you have slash r slash f slash n, things like that. So similar thing, NLTK library converts for all of this. So it's like, now you can consider this a corpus. Okay, so everything is considered as a corpus. So it's like a junk thing. Okay, so some things might not sound like it doesn't sound meaningful, but then we'll convert that into meaningful sentences. Okay, and so this was a result of this thing, that is send token, and word token is nothing but this. So this is the first 4 words from that. Okay, so this is the small sample of what the NLTK library is, and how you can extract words from that and just print it. Now our big task is to create a chatbot out of this. Okay, so now we have our text file. Now based upon this, let's see how we can build a chatbot. Okay, so before building the chatbot, now since everything is in a raw format, we have to first pre-process it. Okay, so first we'll do an activity of pre-processing. So I'll just comment this. So don't worry, this code is not that big, but it's very easy, because NLP has very wide applications, and mostly in all of the companies, when you apply for some jobs, they ask for NLP. So NLP is actually a domain in machine learning where you put all this naive Bayes applications, all the other algorithms which you have, you just try to implement in NLP. Okay, so first we want to do the pre-processing. So for pre-processing, I'll first introduce a term which is called as lemmatization. Lemmatization is a process which is used for creating meaningful sentences or structures. Okay, just for the time being, consider lemmatization is a process which is used to create meaningful sentences out of some words, okay, from alphabets like that. So in NLTK toolkit or the library, we have a class called as WordNet Lemmatizer. Okay, so this is a class. From this class, I am creating an object lemmer. Okay, and then I'll have 2 different methods, that is lem tokens and lem normalize. Let's see what this definition of these 2 methods are. So in lem tokens, basically it takes a set of tokens. Tokens are nothing but user inputs, you can consider in that way. Okay, so what it does is, for each tokens that the user produces, this lematize function will convert it into some meaningful grammatical constructs. Okay, so it will not be junk. Actually, at the back end, lematize will do all those things which is written in object oriented code. Okay, so internal processing will be done by lematize. So this is the function that is done for each of the user input that is given. Then what this particular line does is it will remove all the punctuations which are there. Punctuation means like all the apostrophes, commas, then semicolons, colons, all those things which you have studied with great difficulty in your English classes. So those things we don't actually require. We just focus on the words at the time being. So those things are put into a dict. Okay, so dict is a dictionary. So you make a dictionary in this way, and then there is one thing that I mean the main operation that you want to do is you want to convert all the punctuations into an integer. So that thing is done with the help of ORD function. So ORD function works in this way. So it will take any Unicode characters. So this comma, colon, double quotes, single quotes, question marks, then exclamations, hashtags, all these things it takes as input. That is a Unicode. There will be some specific Unicodes for this. It will convert to an integer counterpart. Okay, so you can just Google for these things. It is there openly available. Okay, and this thing you do for all the punctuations which is present in the string dot punctuation. Okay, so for this we have used this string class, string library. So that is for each of the tokens which the user gives to the chatbot. Next, once we have the tokens, we want to normalize it, because what happens is every tokens when it gives, it may be of some specific sizes. So it is our job, like we want to scale it to some particular level so that everything will be in a confined spaces, and it's not like it's overwhelming, or it's not like the words are not big small like that. It's not considered in that way. So just to make sure like everything works perfectly, we'll just normalize this thing. Okay, so in normalize we have this lem tokens. So in lem tokens itself will use the word underscore tokenize. That is nothing but this thing which you did above for all the text which we have in lowercase, and we use a method that is translate, and translate takes the punctuations. So now here what happens is it will convert all the unicodes in integer format. So what translate does is it will do the grammatical counterpart for that. Okay, so you won't understand it internally. The compiler does this in zeros and ones, but then translate method will automatically translate. So this is the power of NLTK library which is present. So it returns that thing. So these are the two functions, essential functions which is there required for pre-processing. Okay, then upon when user interacts for the first time with our chatbot, we have to greet our system. So that is a common practice when you meet with anyone, whether it's a robot or a human being, you first greet. So for greeting we have certain set of greet inputs. So here it doesn't matter what data structure you pass, because we are not doing any operations, we are not adding anything or removing anything. So for greeting inputs, we have essentially a tuple. So in tuples, I'll pass certain words as strings. So now user is permitted to greet the chatbot uh, by using this keywords only. So if it greets the chatbot in some other keyword which is not present inside this tuple, it will not understand basically. So that is the whole point of this. So instead of this tuple, I have considered a tuple here. You can put a list also. Okay. So there are some words: hello, hi, greetings, WhatsApp, like that. And in turn, the chatbot should give some response back. So the response which you get back is in form of a list. Okay, so now there is no specific order of how it will give this response. So that thing we have to do in a random way. So for that I've used this random. So for each of the sentences or each of the words in that, so I'm basically creating a function which is called as a greeting. So in greeting, I'll take the word from that sentence, okay, and I'll do a split. So split is used with the strings. So in strings class, you have the split method. So for each of the words which are present in the sentence, we split it, okay, and we convert that word to lowercase, okay, and in from greeting inputs, we return for that input, we return some random strings from the responses. So it is as simple as that. Okay, so that is nothing but the greeting function, what it does, functionality. Next comes the heart of the chatbot. If you make something here wrong, then your chatbot possibly won't reply in a desired way, or it may not function. Okay, so everything which you take, or when you want to process to your chatbot or for any of the applications, everything is vectorized. Even with neural networks also, the concept of vectors is very essential, because whenever you want to multiply or do some matrix factorization or operations like that, you basically put into a vector, because those operations are pretty much faster. Okay, so for that purpose we create vectors. So following is a code for vectorizing the chatbot. So I'm basically using a library from sklearn, that is feature extraction.txt. You have the tf idf vectorizer. Okay, so you can read about this, what it does. So as I mentioned previously, few moments ago, you have the concepts of tf, df and idf. So if you are well versed with these concepts, you can easily make these things much more dynamic. And there is a distance function that you should use. So you usually use the Manhattan distance or the Euclidean distance. So that is more popular in the machine learning community. So whether it's in clustering or classification or in k-means algorithm, anywhere you use the Euclidean distance. But when it comes to comparing documents where magnitude doesn't matter, by magnitude what I mean is the size or the value, when that doesn't comes into a role, you basically go with the cosine distance. So cosine is basically to get the direction. Okay, so for that you have the cosine similarity. So that is present inside a method that is sklearn metrics dot pairwise. So from that I am using the cosine similarity. Then I write my main function, which is the actual response that the chatbot should give dynamically when you query it for something which you want. Okay, so for that I'm writing a function that is define response. So what it basically takes is it will take the user response. Okay, so that is as simple. Initially the chatbot will be empty. Okay, so that's why it is an empty string. Then uh, what is there is user will give some inputs. Okay, so that will be considered as tokens. So once user gives that input, it will be sent tokens. So user will be already sent that token, or it might have been given to the chatbot. So that's why it's called as send tokens dot append, or you can consider the send tokens as what we did previously at this particular line. So now the send tokens should be appended to the user response, whatever user has sent or typed so far. Okay, hi, hello, and any questions after that will be sent to this. And then comes this thing, that is a TF-IDF vectorizer. So that thing we have already taken from here, and what it basically does is inside this method or the constructor of this class, we have a function that is called as the tokenizer. Okay, so tokenizer will take the tokens. Now tokens in the raw format we cannot give, so we should give the normalized one. So that's why we give the lem normalize. And then there are some words. So in in the English language literature, what we basically have, we have fillers, is, the, that, things like that. So these are called as stop words. So here I am just passing it as English because the text document is in English language. Okay, so it will automatically identify what are the stop words for the English language. Okay, and then what I do is, this particular thing is nothing but the usual thing that you do, that is model.fit. So that same thing with tf-idf vector, you have to do a fit transform. So that is given by fit transform. So that takes the sent tokens. Okay, once that part is done, then comes the check for similarity, cosine similarity. So what I do is, uh, based upon the user input, that is tf-idf, I do the reverse operation, that is -1 from back to the first. Okay, and I compare with the user input. Okay, so ideally it should be 0. So if that is the case, that means there is similarity. And what this particular thing does is, it will do an argument sort. So this is standard for each document. So you call vals.argsort, and in argsort you pass an index and the final index, that is -2. So from backside you have to keep a positioning. So this is internally done in a vectorized format. And then what you do is, you just flatten all these things, because sometimes it happens like the documents appear one below the other. So you get like the words like, for example, active learning. So A, C, T, it should not come one below the other. So it should everything be flattened, and it should be in a proper format. So for that we use the flatten method, and we just basically sort these things. Okay, so it will do the internal sorting of this words and alphabets, everything based upon the English language dictionary. And what we do is, we create a requirement tf idf object, and inside that we create, uh, we just slice it. That is now flat, since it's a vector, we can do the slicing of -2. So from -2 index, it will start checking whether that document matches with the user query or not. So the basic takeaway is this. uh, so how the idea you can visualize is like, user will ask for certain query. So that query, it should consider the keyword, and it should check whether that particular key is present in your document or not. Okay, so rest everything it will discard. So for that thing we have to put a -2. uh, the code or the text file which I created, it should behave in this way. So that's why I've written for this. And if that particular requirement underscore tf-idf variable is 0, that means there is nothing to be understood in that. So it's like, I'm sorry, I don't understand you. Okay, means if it's not present inside this responses. Okay, and if the chatbot doesn't understand what it should respond to the user from this responses or from the document itself, then that means like it doesn't understand what the user meant to be. Okay, I didn't get you. So return chatbot response. Else, if it finds some meaningful stuffs from that particular document or from these responses, then it will return with that, with the index. So that is nothing but with this index what you have. Okay, so if that is clear, then our major code scan is done. So this is the overall structure how it is. Then you have some driver codes from where the code will start. So you have if name is equal to main. This particular thing uh, marks the start of the program from where the program starts. The second thing is like this thing is optional, but whenever you do object oriented programming, or whenever you do the modularization, or whenever we build the Flask application, usually we encountered in that. So this thing is optional, but whenever you write a program, some program, whenever by using pandas or numpy or some standard libraries, not external libraries, standard libraries, you basically use this. Okay. So inside this, I have a global variable that is flag, which is set to true. That is a Boolean variable. So this is the welcome message that is given by the chat. What it should greet is I will answer your queries. Want to exit? Okay. So now so now so now which is flag. I'll create a while loop. Loop. So inside that while loop, it will check whether the flag value is true. If it's that the case, then user should input, give some tokens or give some word, something like that, meaningful sentences out of that. Okay. And then what it does is it will convert everything to lowercase. That is as simple as that. If user didn't responded as by, means if it responded as by, then entire thing what you see here highlighted won't get executed. It will directly set the flag value as false, and it will say bye, have a great time. So if that's not the case, if it's not equal to bye, and if the user responses either thanks after getting what the user wanted. Okay. So if it satisfied the user in getting the appropriate result, or if the user said thanks or thank you or anything like that, again a greeting, then it will set the flag value as false. It will say you're welcome. If it's not that the case, or if the user is actually searching for some particular questions that he wants from the chatbot, then it should give a greeting message. So this ideally is intended to work for the uh, greeting stuff. So whenever user starts the chatbot for the first time, he should get the greeting. So this should fetch the greeting for that particular thing. Okay. So that's why you can see a greeting message. So that will shoot from this point or from this block. Else, if it's not a greeting message, but instead he's searching for some particular answers or queries, that is done by this. Okay. So Aneka will append everything, or the responses will be appended down the line, and whatever tokens the user has sent, it will automatically flush out of that. So all the sent tokens will be removed from the user response. Okay. So every time it has to uh, fetch the new tokens from the user, and it has to appropriately respond to that. Okay. So that is the same thing, and this I've already explained. So if this code is understood, then it's very easy. So once you just instantiate all of these things, what happens, you can just clear this console. So you can basically type clear here, and it will clear your console. Then what you can see is you can see a console option here, a drop down. You can go to editor, you can go to variable explorer, and you can see whatever local variables or global variables, whatever you have created so far in your program. It's already been created, what is their type, the size, and what is their value. Okay. So you will get to know so I've already executed this before. Uh, I mean, I've tried and tested this out so that it works perfectly. So upon your execution for each of the line, it will create variables, and it will also print their memory allocation. the size where how much it is taking and what does it type. So that is just for your summary purpose. Okay, if some variables are missing, or if you by mistakenly deleted something, or if you closed some of the file and if something goes wrong, then you can keep a track of these things. Okay, so let's now see whether we can get this. So before that, I'll just comment this out. So this should not get printed. So you can go here and you can run the file. So you can see here, hello, my name is Anika and I will answer your queries. If you want to exit, type by. Okay, so we'll just greet with hi. So it said hi. So if we write hello, so now see, it's like it's not fixed, it's random. So before that it said hi, now it's saying I'm glad you're talking to me. Okay, now since we know, like we have certain set of questions that is already prepared for our Aneka, we'll ask certain set of questions to that. Okay, so I'll just type. So assume like it's Google and you're asking, but not a huge database, but just from the files we have trained this model. Not model, this is a chatbot. So what is active learning? Okay, yes, it replied something. Aneka says active learning is a subset of machine learning, and it's a kind of query based learning where the user queries for specific information based upon a certain area of interest. Actually, uh, it's not visible because, okay, I'll just move here. Okay, now it should be fine, based on certain region of interest. Okay, so it is working now. We'll ask some more questions. What I believe is like there was a question of what the assumption that active learning algorithm makes. So I'll write what is the assumption. So it works. So it will basically check for this assumption. So how this thing is actually working internally, if you didn't get this logic, how it is doing. So this thing is done uh, by this similarity. Okay. So what it will do is in TF-IDF vector, it will take this token. Now this entire thing is considered as a token. So out of this, the keyword, that is the assumption. Okay, assumption is already present in my document. Okay, and it will check whether if it's present inside the document and whether the given token, if it matches. Okay, if there is a similarity found, then it will execute all of these things. Okay, so that's how this actually works. Okay, and whatever is there till the full stop, it will print with all the commas and full stops, everything. So this is the result of that. Then I'll ask some other questions. Any examples of this active learning? Any examples? So it said examples for active learning, speech recognition, some text, and then document classification and filtering. There are some text. Okay. So keep in mind, whatever the chatbot is responding, it is converting everything to lower, because most of the places we have converted to lowercase user input also, and all the other transformations which have done. So that is how this basically works. So this is a chatbot. You can do this for your assignment. Okay, so if you want some answers that you don't want to search throughout the document, you can write some queries into chatbot and you can get the answer. So it is that simple. Okay, so once we get our desired result, okay, so now I got all my questions it's required for my assignment. I'm saying thank you or thanks. I'll write thank you. So she said you're welcome. Okay, so it is going here, it is taking thank you, it is converting everything to lowercase, and it is matching with this, and it is printing you're welcome. Okay, so That's it with this chatbot. That is a very simple chatbot. I have not used that many libraries, just not even used the NumPy libraries, just use the random string, uh, just only one library, that is NLTK, that is a natural language toolkit. That's it. uh, no much coding, just some things here, that is the pre-processing and stuffs like that. This functions and all, this remains constant for, I mean, this is a boilerplate thing that is for most of the projects, or whenever you do any document classification or spam detection in applications like that, this part remains the constant. And the main thing, like how you want to make your chatbot work, that is done by the vectorizer. So vectorizer, you have to keep it changing dynamically every time you want to make something new, or whenever you want to make your chatbot make exhibit different functionalities, you have to make that changes implement in the response. Okay, so that's it with this video for the chatbot implementation in Python by using the Spider framework or the code editor. So well, that was all regarding in this video. If you enjoyed this video, if you found this video informative, if you got to know, you got something new to learn, please hit that like button and share with many people as much as possible. And thank you very much for watching this video.